All righty. So I would love to know what symptoms and challenges you had prior to seeing us.
Yeah, I mean, the list was long. I had been diagnosed with diabetes. I had an electrical problem with my heart, or I do have an electrical problem with my heart. That's not really related to lifestyle. As you know, I was obese and had been for 25 plus years. I'd gotten up as high as 400 pounds. When we started working together, I was like mid 300s, or when I started this part of my journey. I had GI issues, I had sleep apnea, was using a CPAP machine. So there was a lot. I was getting sick and tired of being sick and tired, as they say.
So, what other treatments had you tried, or particular specialties or doctors you've seen?
Yeah, boy, I had tried everything in the book, which I think is true for a lot of people, especially people who have a weight problem and all the things related to that. I'd worked with a bariatric physician at one point, a physician that specializes in weight issues, but ultimately he sort of ended up just being a pill pusher.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um, these days, of course, there's so much information online, but then that becomes confusing. I tried every diet in the book. I tried to figure out supplementation on my own. Read books, listened to podcasts, did this, did that, did the other thing. But it's just overwhelming. It's just overwhelming, and obviously, I wasn't solving the problem.
Absolutely. So, what made you choose a functional medicine approach?
I'm pretty familiar with sort of the traditional Western allopathic um, medicine model. And it was really clear to me that that just was not going to solve my problems. And so I just love the idea of taking an integrative, functional approach to health and, to your whole life. And it just is just logical when you think about it. You know?
So, let's talk a little bit, Bill, about the program you did and your actual experience with GrassRoots. So, you joined our 12-month Adaptation Plus program. And what that includes is kind of an integrative approach where you work in close contact with Dr. Osgood, along with our functional nutritionist and myself as a health and wellness coach, and helping with mindset mastery. So I would love to know if you feel like that was a good fit for you and how it was helpful.
It was such a good fit. I mean, I don't think you can't really take a functional approach without all of those different pieces. So, Dr. Osgood is great, um, but it's not just him, you know. And so it was very important to me to have all of those different things. Um, and it hasn't, it honestly, it just couldn't have been better, I mean, and I'm not saying that just, for the sake of this interview, but I mean, everything all along the way has really been as good as I ever could have hoped. And to be able to take each of the pieces together, and, working with you and Betsy and even Sandy as part of the team, it's been a pleasure. And I feel like I'm getting all the different pieces that I need. Um, and personally, I do need all of those things.
Mm-hmm. So, what about the mindset mastery, those weekly visits that you had with myself? Talk about kind of what you found helpful, why you feel that is important.
For me, and I know everybody's different, but for me, even though I'm a leader in almost every other area of my life, I really feel that the only times that I have had any success over the years as it relates to my health, and my life, um, have been when I've had some accountability. So, working with you every week has really been, I don't know if the most important aspect of the whole thing, but I could almost say that, because just being able to talk to you every week, know that when I'm having a bad week, that I do have to talk to you, which is good. It motivates me to, to maybe not eat that thing I shouldn't eat, or to make sure that I exercise, because I want to be able to tell you that I have done that. But then on the positive side, just, being able to speak with you, ask you miscellaneous questions, not just always have you there for me. Having that with you every week has made all the difference for me, and having this program be successful.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I know we worked on actually tracking things together too. For instance, collaborating so I can see how many steps you're doing on your Fitbit, your meals on MyFitnessPal, creating an exercise program specifically for you, along with looking at the whole picture with mindfulness, stress reduction, time management, and just kind of making sure we're talking about all those things, because they all are part of your journey, and you've been really receptive to the work. That's what's important.
But just really identifying, well, what areas of my life do need to change. And again, it comes back to that functional approach, is that, you can't, fixing the diet or exercising alone is not going to help if you can't address the stress issues or the relationship issues, or whatever. I mean, the thing, we just don't live in a bubble.
So share a little bit about what's new and good with you and how you're feeling right now.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's, certainly you don't reverse 30 years of unhealthy living in 1 year. And so it's a process, it's a journey. But for me, I've gone from 351 pounds to, as of yesterday, 242. You mentioned the steps. I've noticed I beat you on steps almost every week. So
Thank you, Bill.
I'll be downhill skiing
Right.
again for the first time in almost 30 years. And I'll be playing tennis again. And all of these things that, just to have my life back, basically. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is amazing. And I think just, making those short-term steps, the accountability, as you talked about, have made, and your determination is what's made it happen. So it's incredible. So lastly, what words of wisdom do you have for someone considering taking on the challenge that perhaps their own journey with GrassRoots functional medicine?
If you are not extremely sick yet, and yet you just want to be healthier, if you can possibly do it, do it now. Don't wait till you get to the point where you're so unhealthy that that it's as big a job. So don't wait. Try and find that motivation somewhere, that I was never able to do. The other thing too is that it's not a small financial commitment, depending which plan you do, and our healthcare system and our insurance system is not really designed to pay for some of this, although some of the stuff is potentially able to be run through insurance. But invest in yourself, and I know for some people that it's just harder than others, and different people have different financial wherewithal. But even if it feels like a stretch, find a way to make that stretch, because I think most of us waste a crazy amount of money on stupid things during the year. So if you were to just say, instead of doing that unhealthy thing, I'm going to take that money and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to spend it on this that will make me healthier, then there are very few people in the world that can't find waste in their life. And one thing that's hard to measure too is what's the cost of being unhealthy. What is that cost? If you do get sick and you have to pay for deductibles on insurance are pretty big these days usually, right? So, if you just wait and then you end up hospitalized, well, there you go.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate this.
It is my pleasure. I'm happy to give back, and if I can help any, just one person to get healthier by working with GrassRoots and figuring it out, so that they maybe don't have to go through what I've had to go through, then that's well worth it.